Hello, Year 2, how are you? And welcome to today's maths lesson. Now, over the last few lessons, we have been looking at 2D shapes, haven't we? So in our first lesson, we looked at the names of different 2D shapes. And then yesterday, we counted the sides on these 2D shapes. Now, today, we're going to be moving on. And this time, we're going to be counting the vertices on these shapes. Now, I wonder what I mean by vertices. Well, we're going to find out what this means in a little while. But before we do, let's warm up our brains with our flashback. So here you have 3 flashback questions. In number 1, you need to name the 2D shape. So think back to our first lesson when we looked at the names of 2D shapes. What is this shape here called? Then number 2, how many films are there on Sunday? So have a look at the key. How many films does one blue circle represent? And then have a look at Sunday and find out the total number of films on Sunday. Then number 3, how many 10s are there in 42? So you need to partition the number 42 and find out how many 10s there are in this number. Okay, so pause the video now and have a go at your flashback. Okay, so let's go through the answers together, Year 2. So number 1, name the 2D shape. Now, how can I work out which 2D shape this is? Well, yesterday we looked at sides, didn't we? We counted the sides on different shapes. So let's use this to help us work out what shape this is. So it has one side, it has 2 sides, it has 3 sides, it has 4 sides, and it has 5 sides. So therefore, this shape has 5 sides. Now, which 2D shape has 5 sides? Yes, that's right. A pentagon has 5 sides. Fantastic. Well done. Now, number 2, how many films are there on Sunday? Well, if we have a look at the key, we can see that one blue circle represents 5 films. So we're going to be counting up in steps of 5. Now, how many blue circles are there next to Sunday? Well, there are 3 blue circles next to Sunday. So therefore, we are going to be counting up in steps of 5 3 times. So we're going to be doing 5 plus 5 plus 5 because there are 3 blue circles and each blue circle represents 5 films. So are you ready to count with me in steps of 5 3 times? Okay, tell me when to stop. 5, 10, 15. Ah, yes, you're right. I need to stop there because I've counted 3 steps of 5 and I got to the number 15. So therefore, there were 15 films on Sunday. Okay, what about number 3? How many 10s are there in 42? So we need to partition the number, and to do that, we're going to use a part-whole model. Now, we always put the whole at the top, don't we? Our 42, because that is our whole. Now, we need to partition the number into 10s and 1s. Well, we can partition the number 42 into 40 and 2. But there aren't 40 10s in 42, are there? How many 10s are there in the number 40? Well, let's count up in steps of 10 and see how many steps we have to count before we get to 40. Okay, you ready? 10, 20, 30, 40. Ah, we've got to 40. And how many steps did we count? Yes, we counted 4. So there are 4 10s in 40. So therefore, I've shown that using my base 10. Okay, I've got 4 10s because there are 4 10s in 42. Now, how many 1s are there in 42? Oh, yes, there are 2 1s, so we can show that with our base 10 as well, using 2 little 1s. So therefore, if we put our base 10 together, we will represent the number 42 because there are 4 10s and 2 1s in this number. So fantastic, well done if you got that right. Now let's move on to today's learning. So here we have 2 children. Now the boy is thinking of a number. He's giving us a clue. He's telling us that the shape that he is thinking of has 3 sides. Now, which shape do we know that has 3 sides? Well, I know a circle has 1 side. I know there's no shapes that have 2 sides. Ah, I know that a triangle has 3 sides. So therefore, he is thinking of a triangle because a triangle has 1 side, has 2 sides, and it has 3 sides. Now, the girl is asking the boy, how many vertices does it have? Well, what does she mean by vertices? Well, a vertex is where 2 lines, 2 sides on our shape meet. So can you see I have circled a vertex on our triangle? So a vertex is when there is 1, but when there is more than 1 on our shape, we say vertices, okay? And yes, we have more than one point where two lines meet on our shape, don't we? So therefore, let's keep counting and find out how many vertices we have. So we have our first one, we have our second, and we have another one. So we have 3 vertices. We've got 1, 2, 3. So therefore, our triangle has 3 sides. Yes, it does, but it also has 3 vertices. Fantastic. Okay, now I think he's thinking of another number now. Well, he's saying now that the shape he is thinking of has 5 sides. Now, I would like to pause the video and have a think. What shape do we know has 5 sides? Okay, year 2. So let's have a look together. Well, if you think back to our flashback, what shape had 5 sides? Yes, you're right. It's a pentagon, isn't it? And here is the shape that he is thinking of. And it has 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides, and 5 sides. So this is not a regular pentagon, but because it has 5 sides, it is still a pentagon. It is an irregular pentagon. Okay, now I think the girl's about to ask us how many vertices this shape has, don't you? And yes, look, how many vertices does this shape have? Okay, so I'd like you to pause the video. Remember, a vertex is where 2 lines, 2 sides of our shape meet. Okay, so pause the video now and have a think. How many vertices does this shape have? Okay, year 2, so let's look at this together. So let's circle our first vertex. Remember, vertex is when there is 1. Now, are there any more vertices on this shape? Well, yes, there are. So let's keep going. We've got 2 vertices there. We've got 3. And we've got 4. Now, am I missing any vertices? Well, yes. Look, I have one here as well. Just because the vertex isn't pointing outwards, it is pointing inwards, it is still a vertex. So therefore, we still need to count it as one of our vertices. So therefore, how many vertices does this shape have? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have our vertex that's pointing inwards, which is 5. So therefore, our pentagon has 5 sides and it has 5 vertices. Fantastic. Well done if you got that right. Okay, now here we have a question. How many vertices do each of these shapes have? So we're going to look at the first one together. Remember, a vertex is where 2 lines on our shape meet, where 2 of our sides meet. Now, I'm going to count them. Are you ready? So I've got 1 vertex, because I remember when there's 1, we call it a vertex. And then I have 2 vertices. I have 3 vertices, 4 vertices, and 5 vertices. So therefore, my shape has 5 vertices. There are 5 points where 2 of the lines meet. Okay, so I'd like to pause the video and have a go at working out how many vertices the red shape and the orange shape have. Okay, year 2, so let's have a look together. So let's start with the red shape. Well, I'm going to circle them and I'd like you to count them with me, okay? So we've got 1 vertex, 2 vertices, 3 vertices. Remember, even though it's pointing inwards, it is still a vertex, so we're up to 3. We've got 4 vertices, 5 vertices. Have we got any more? Yes, we have. We've got 6 vertices. So therefore, this shape has 6 vertices. Well done if you got that one right. Okay, now let's have a look at the next one. Well, this one has 1 vertex here. Can you count with me? 2 vertices, 3 vertices, 4 vertices, and 5 vertices. So this shape has 5 vertices, just like our first shape did. Fantastic. Well done if you managed to count all of the vertices on these shapes, and you even spotted the vertices that was pointing inwards, because sometimes that can catch you out. Okay, so I think we're ready for a new question, don't you? Okay, so our next question says, which of these shapes have 6 vertices? So which shapes have 6 points where 2 of the lines on the shape meet, 2 of the sides meet? Well, I'm going to look at the first one, okay? So I'm going to look at the yellow shape. How many vertices does this shape have? Well, we've got 1 vertex, 2 vertices, 3 vertices, 4 vertices, 5 vertices, even though it's pointing inwards, it's still a vertex, and 6 vertices. So therefore, yes, this shape has 6 vertices. Fantastic. Okay, let's look at the next one. So we're going to look at the red one next. So it's got 1 vertex, 2 vertices, 3 vertices, and 4 vertices. So therefore, this shape has 4 vertices. It doesn't have 6 vertices like the question is asking us. So I would like you to pause the video and have a go. Can you work out if the other 2 shapes have 6 vertices or not? Okay, so let's go through them together. So let's start with the purple shape. So there's our first vertex on our purple shape. And our second, count with me, 3 vertices, 4 vertices, and 5 vertices. Now, have I missed any vertices? No, I haven't. So therefore, this shape has 5 vertices. So therefore, we can't circle it because the question is asking us for 6 vertices. Now, what about the last shape, the blue one? Well, let's count together again. Are you ready? We've got 1 vertex, 2 vertices, 3 vertices. Don't forget, even though it's pointing inwards, it's still a vertex. So we're up to 3 vertices. We've got 4 vertices, 5, 6. Have we got any more? No, we've circled all of the vertices and we ended up with 6 vertices. So yes, this shape can be circled because it has 6 vertices. Fantastic. Well, well done if you got those right, if you spotted the 2 shapes that have 6 vertices. So now I think we're ready for a different question. Oh, this one is asking us which of these shapes have 5 vertices. Okay, so I would like to look at the first one together. So we're going to look at the triangle. Now remember, a vertex is where 2 lines meet on a shape. So we've got our first vertex there, our second vertex, and then we have another vertex. So how many vertices do we have in total? Well, we have 1, 2, 3 on our triangle, and we know that from our first question, don't we, that a triangle has 3 vertices. So therefore, we can't circle this shape. Well, let's have a look at the next one. So we have the green shape. So we have our first vertex at the top, then our second, then we have 3 vertices, 4 vertices. Now, do I have any more? Yes, I do. Can you spot it? 5 vertices. So therefore, this shape has 5 vertices, so I can circle it because that is what the question is asking us. Now, I would like to have a go at working out if the last 2 shapes have 5 vertices or not. Remember, a vertex is where 2 lines on the shape meet. Okay, so pause the video now and have a go. Okay, yeah, too. So let's go through them together. Well, let's start with the blue shape at the top. So we've got our first vertex there. Then we've got another vertex. And another vertex. So we've got 3 vertices now. I would like you to count with me for the rest of the vertices. So we've got 3, 4, even though it's pointing inwards, 5, and 6. So has this shape got 5 vertices? No, it hasn't. It's got 6. So we can't circle that shape. Now let's try the last one. So we've got 1 vertex, 2 vertices. I hope you're counting with me. 3 vertices. 4 vertices. Have I missed any? Yes, I have. 5 vertices. So therefore, this shape has 5 vertices, like the question is asking us. So therefore, we can circle this shape. So there we go. We have 2 shapes that have 5 vertices. And then we had our triangle that has 3. And then the other shape that has 6 vertices. So well done if you're able to spot which shapes have 5 vertices. That's fantastic.